Hey YouTube. So today I'm going to be showing you how to change the spark plugs on a 2012 Mazdaspeed 3. Now let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to need to cut. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is pop open your hood, and what we're going to be doing is basically taking off the top mount intercooler. Of course, if your car has a front mount intercooler, it makes life a whole lot easier. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unclip the recirculation tube down there and unclip this part of the intercooler where it goes into the intake, and over here where it connects to the turbo. Alright, so for today's install, we're going to need a couple assortment of tools here. Some parrot nose pliers, a couple sockets. These are 12, 10, and 8. Extension socket for spark plug. This is 5/8 for my particular vehicle. Any socket wrenches, a torque wrench for the spark plugs, any assortment of extensions that you're going to need, some anti-seize, more pliers, screwdriver, flathead, add some gloves, and of course the spark plugs. So that's all you should really need. Alright, so we're going to take this off. This is going to require a 10mm, just 2 bolts. And we are now at the intercooler. We're going to need to take these 2 bolts here in the front off, and that one right there in the back, in order to pull the whole thing off. These nuts here will require a 12mm socket head. And that they have these little washers here, and these, since they're, let me get that focus, there we go, since they're rubber, they usually heat up and kind of stick to the metal, but I've had these kind of fall off while I'm carrying the intercooler, which isn't good because I almost lost it. So keep this piece, keep an eye on it, maybe put some tape on it, because this might fall at any time once you pull it out. Another note to keep in mind is that this one's going to need a deep socket. After you've taken all the nuts off of these bolts, the next step is to take these band clamps off, and I'm just untightening this one. It's a 10mm, and this one right here is a 10mm as well. You can use a screwdriver. Next, you want to take a pair of pliers and get that clamp off. This one, let's see if I can point to it a little better. This one right here, that's going to need to slide down so you can take off your recirculation tube from your blow-off valve. Alright, now that I slid that tube off, the next thing to do is pretty much grab the intercooler and pull it out of here and here kind of simultaneously. I'm going to be using some gloves since the intercooler is still warm to the touch. I forgot to mention this vacuum hose. Grab some pliers and move the clamp down and just pull it off. And that will be the last thing holding your intercooler in. Alright, so with everything disconnected, your intercooler should now be free. And I'm just gonna take it over here. Make sure it's in a safe location. And now you have access to all your spark plugs. Alright, so Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take off that clip with the screwdriver and that 8mm bolt there. And all you have to do is push down on this clip and pull it out like so. I do with the screwdriver. Now that that's unplugged and the bolts are taken out, you can take and just pop this out. And I like to just work it a little bit. There you go. I'll just do this for all 4 of them, and we'll have access to the spark plugs. Okay, with the ignition coils out, take your 5/8 socket and extension, and proceed to remove all the spark plugs. Now that I have all 4 of my spark plugs out, I'm going to go ahead and also do a compression test while I'm here. So I just finished the compression test, and all 4 of my cylinders are sitting at about 150, so that's a good sign. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this and start replacing my plugs with some brand new Denso. These are ITV22s, and they are 1 step colder than the stock ones. So I'll go ahead and remove this, and we'll basically just be screwing down our new plugs in. So I'm going to take these new spark plugs and I'm going to put just a little bit of anti-seize on there, and that will just make it easy for me to remove next time I need to replace these. Alright, now I'm just going to tighten the plug to about 110 inch-pound per Mazda's service manual. I'm going to do that for all 4, and then we're going to put everything back together and start her up. All the plugs are now inside of the engine, so I'm just going to grab the ignition coils here, and just like you took them out, you want them, just kind of wiggle them in there. And you do that for the rest of them. We'll then bolt her up and make sure to connect your electricity in there. We've connected back our ignition coils here, and everything's nice and sturdy. So the next step now is get the intercooler back on, and then the cover will be done. Alright, so everything's put back together, everything's bolted down, all the clamps here are sealed, the tube is put back. Let's start her up. Looks like everything is in good running order. Hope you liked the video. Really appreciate it.